Hey everyone, my name is Arif Mirza from Name Cult. I am the host producer of the main socials and of the main panels. For those wondering the difference between the two, not too much. It's usually the same people in attendance. With the socials, it's more of a community discussion on anything related to domains. And with the domain panel, it's going to be more of expert sort of presentations or Q&As or reviews, feedback. So this October 27th session of the social ended up being pretty much multiple presentations from Richard Lau, Darpin Munjal, Meredith Monroe, and Jonathan Frakes. So what I've done is I've split them up into each of their own show, and I'm greatly appreciative to each of them for what they've shared. Again, would be logo.com, squadhelp.com. Meredith shared some really cool hosting, HT access, sort of domainer hacker tips, really great stuff. And Jonathan went through WordPress installation. So on that note, I will just continue on and let you all get on with the show. If you want to join us in the future, both domain panel and domain social, you can subscribe at domainsocial.com and you'll be getting an email before every show. And that's it. Have a good one. Welcome everybody to the Domain Social for October 27th, 2020, special edition, a Technical Tuesday, we're calling it. We have some great presenters for you to share their platforms and industry tips, tricks, all kinds of stuff that we don't usually have. We have Richard Lau, we have Darpin Munjal, Richard Lau from logo.com, Darpin from Squad Help. Meredith, I never know whether you want me to say your last name or not, so I'm just gonna say Meredith. She's gonna show us all kinds of tricks with hosting and HT access the files and all kinds of stuff that I've always wanted to know about, but just been afraid to ask. And Jonathan, you all know Jonathan. He's gonna be on and off talking about WordPress installation and setup, and his will be intermingled a bit. And I'll hand things over to Jonathan. Again, thanks to everybody.
Perfect. Hey, thank you. And thanks for joining. And what a cool group of people. Like, this fell together really nicely. I just literally wanted to show off, hey, here's how easy it is to set up a WordPress. And then, it just kind of gained momentum. And Arif got some star power. Like, Richard Lau and Darpan and Meredith are going to give you more. I'm going to set them up really nice. And I'll go really quick because I think Richard has some stuff to do. What I really like about logo.com and what you've set up, Richard, is just such a great way to activate and let people see the benefit of a domain and start to see that potential. It's kind of a neat activation. So I'm really glad to see logo.com get all the success that it's getting. And for those of you who don't know, like, Richard and I set up NamesCon, which is, we both are very passionate about this industry. And to see you just, having these continued successes is really fantastic, Richard. Thank you for this part. And I hand over to Richard Lau.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to just acknowledge the long relationship Jonathan and I have had, working together very hard, putting to the NamesCon and just making that what it is. And it's great to see it as part of the GoDaddy family now. And, it's such a pleasure to have attended, in person in Austin and then online. I think the online format worked really well. I think there's some things that even when they do go back to in person that we should, adopt, especially the question and answers that you could post during sessions. So we've got a bit of that going on today with the chat. I'll try and keep my eye on that. But yeah, I want to jump in. I'm a domainer. I've been a domainer for 20 plus years. I've had my share of failures. So let's just talk about the successes. Resume.com is one of those. We took a category defining domain name, built a business around it, all onshore programmers, all onshore staff. I'm based here in Vancouver, just north of Seattle. And we built that up. It was an overnight success, 7 years, and then sold it to Indeed.com. And so it's part of that job board family. And so we want to do the same with logo, where we identify a problem that we've experienced ourselves. We take a category defining domain name, and we put there something that is going to turn the industry on its head. And so, when you look at the competitive marketplace in terms of what process do you go through when you're building a logo, and it's not. I'm not going to define all of them, but the majority of online logo solutions are a contest that can take, generally 15 to 25 days. Costs anywhere from $200 to $1,000. And you're getting hundreds of designs submitted to you. And what you tend to find at the end of that is that the guys who are entering late are looking at ones that you have given thumbs up to and then just modified it slightly. So you end up with lots of designs that are very, very similar. Or you're hiring an agency, you're going to Fiverr. Those are at the opposite end of the scales. An agency could cost you 10 or 15,000. Fiverr could cost you, $5, 10, 15, $20. But in either case, you're going to spend, anywhere between 4 days and 2 weeks. And then you've got your own software solutions, right? Photoshop, Paint, Canva. You're going in and you have to learn this, editor. So there's a plethora of options, but what we found that there was a real lack of is having a solution that can deliver to you a clean professional logo instantly. And by instantly, we mean you go onto the site, and by the time you leave the site, you leave with a logo. Because you go to 99 Designs, you set up a contest, you're going to have to come back, keep coming back. Same with Fiverr. You go to Fiverr, you place your order, you have to wait. Same thing with an agency, or you get your buddy. But it's it's 11 p.m. on a Friday. You've just finished the domain social, and you're like, I've got this great idea. I want to develop. I've got this domain already, or I've just registered this domain. I'm going to get set up with WordPress following Jocelyn's instructions. And, how am I going to put this logo into the logo placeholder in the top left corner of my website? And so, this may not be your forever logo, but it's definitely going to be better than your minimum viable product logo that you're going to do up on Paint. So let's just jump in. Let's go and take a look at what we have put together that we think provides a solution for the majority of logo needs. So with resume, what we wanted to do was to take the minimal information possible to get people started into having a resume online. Doing the same thing with logo.com. We're like, what's the minimal information you need? We're not going to ask you 25, 30 questions and play psychological games of like, oh, the more time they spend with us, the more likely they are to buy. It's like, let's get you to being presented with logos as quickly as possible. So let's go and do one live for the domain social. And so let's just skip the slogan for now. So in this is the ideas tab, and what we have here is an infinite scroll. And so you can just scroll down. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to have a conversation. Each one of these is a conversation. It's a, hey, what orientation do you want? What color schemes do you like? What do you like? And so it's, this is what we're trying to do is take the creativity of the human experience and put it into an algorithm. Like, how do you grab the X factor of what you like when you see it? And so you're just scrolling through. Some people, are very, very much like a no icon. You know, they like just the, you know, or they like the icon centered and above, or they like it on the right. That's the new, a very new style, very modern. Or you can go very traditional and have it on the left. You know, the domain social circle with the text in. That's pretty similar to the current one. But you know, and again, you just go down and it's infinite scroll. We just keep going, keep going. This is one of our most popular templates, is with the shading. But you know, you can see it just will continue to load, and we'll just continue to grow the suggested templates. So what we're wanting to do is just, you know, pick one. So here we will pick. Let's pick this guy. And so if it's your first time, we'll take you through a tour so that you know, even though it's we make it as intuitive as possible, we want to try and make sure that you understand what each of these things is, right? So the ideas tab is to you know, just to help get through that conversation of what catches your eye. After that, we'll go through some variations of that logo, of that coloring, of that icon. And then you can get into the nitty gritty, and you can actually change your icon if you'd like. You can change the color themes, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of that. Text and fonts, changing your name, adding a slogan, changing the fonts of each. And then you get into a preview so that you can see what it looks like across different iterations, you know, whether it's t-shirts, pizza box, business card, what have you. And then, you know, once you're all finished, we want you to get your logo. So hopefully that happens. So let's start. We're at we've picked a design, but so it's like, well, are you sure? You know, here are some different iterations. And so, you know, you can say, okay, you know what, I like this one, and or you could just add them to your favorites. You know, like, oh, scrolling through, I love the double line. Let's add that to a favorite. And, you know, just keep going. So this is a very popular one as well, has no icon. So now let's go back to, oh, anytime you can click on your favorites and scroll down and see. These are ones that I was doing earlier, Railtown Coffee. And then you can always skip to that one. So let's go back. So let's choose an icon. So there's 2 million icons in the database that we're drawing from. You know, we can select that one. So you can see that even though the template that we had didn't have an icon, if you chose an icon, it will then insert it. And we can change the location of that icon. You know, bottom is unusual, but we do sell them that way. So we're like, okay, if the customers want them, we will put them there. So, and you can change the sizing of your logo, of your icon. You know, we tend not to have the drag and drop because it's so easy for people to destroy the look and cleanliness of a logo. So we're trying to ride this fine balance between control and keeping you within the bounds of what a professional logo and clean, easy to deliver logo should look like. And so, you know, again, it's very simple to change the icon. You know, you could be like, you know what, I think we're all good cats here, so let's go for a fun logo. Let's make it a cat logo. So we're all getting together. We're just a bunch of cool cats on Domain Social. So now let's go in and refine the color. So depending on the template, there will be different numbers of, or different iterations of what you can change, whether it's different components. So let's just change the icon for now, and I'll make it a lighter blue. And you know, if you have your RGB colors, you can specify them. If you have your hex color, you can specify them. If not, you can use your color picker. Or this is very popular, is you just scroll down and pick a color scheme that catches your eye. And I like the blue and yellow, so that's mine. Again, I'm going to add it to favorites, so it just saves your work as you go along. And you can at any time skip back up and change any of the colors of the background or the slogan. Actually, we don't have our slogan defined yet, so let's go and do that on the next window. So you can pull down and let's add a slogan, right? And so it's the cool domain cats. And so here we can change the alignment, if we wanted it to be fully justified or right justified. Then you can choose your font. There's lots of different fonts, and the fonts are included when you buy your logo, so that you don't have to wonder what you do when you want to try and have something that is matching your slogan or your domain font. And so I'm going to center it and go back over to the business name, and let's go with a handwritten script. So you can say, let's filter the font so that we're only looking at the handwritten bit. And you can see it updates very quickly. There we go. So that's I think that font matches the kind of the handwritten style of the cat. And now let's go over into preview. So now, obviously that's what your logo is going to look like. It could look like on a on a business card, or on your T-shirt, within your app, on an envelope. Here we're telling you what the font is for primary and secondary. We're telling you what your hex colors are. What your business cards could look like, and your brand on the web. This is just a holder, just an example. And so, when you've found one that you like, you can share it, copy it to clipboard, text it out, break it out into a new window, and then share that window on Zoom. You could send it by email to others, or you can just click over and go into the pricing. And so here we have our 3 logo kits. We're going to have a coupon for Domain Social listeners, so that you get 50% off all of these prices. And so that the coupon code for that is social50, and that's valid through the end of the year. Gets you 50% off any of these, only to listeners of the Domain Social. And so very popular if you're just wanting to get a logo that you're putting up into the corner of your WordPress site, is the basic kit. And so you're going to get high resolution images, transparent backgrounds, black and white images, and it's just a quick and easy. As soon as you click continue and check out, then you're presented into your dashboard, and the images are all available to you right then and there. The starter kit is really adding on the social media profile photos and icons, so that you don't have to go and search around. Oh, what size do I need to resize? Now they've got my logo and my logo file in high resolution. What size do I need to play with that in Canva, so that it fits into Twitter? Or in what size do I need to now change it so that it fits nicely into LinkedIn or onto my Facebook cover? You just go into your dashboard, select which social media platform you're looking for and what use you're looking for, and the image is right there. And so we have that, and as a vast time-consuming process, that once you've got your logo, so we're like, oh, let's just save that time for our users. And so we also include at this point the SVG so that you can scale it to any you want, and also be able to access the layers. And then for the complete kit, this is when if you're wanting to get business cards, letterhead, the access to the Adobe Illustrator underlying file, those are all in that complete kit, as well as the PDFs. Now, the complete kit is what we tend to be putting our new features that. So once you're buying this, you have then access to the additional things that we're adding. So the next will be garments, whether it's T-shirts, baseball hats, car wraps. So those items will be available to you in the complete kit dashboard. So that's it in a nutshell. Is that you have the ability to quickly create your logo, to have access to tremendous value. We're trying to turn the industry on its head, as I said, by charging far lower than what our competitors or what the alternatives are, so that it's kind of a no-brainer for when it comes down to the checkout process. So I'll open it up to questions. Fully open. I'm an open book. I've been a domainer for, as I say, 20 years. So I am quite happy to share my experiences, whether it's on logos or on domain names. Yeah, thanks very much for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. And thanks for making me very depressed about my own personal logo making skills. I'm gonna be your first one there. So yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. You can put them in chat or just turn on your mic and ask away.
Richard, have you considered doing also video or logos with video or some bespoke photo background? Not sure whether many people ask, but would look fancy in some occasions.
Yeah, no, it's a very good idea. We are looking at our competitors and looking at ways to grow our product line. And I think that what you will see over time is that logo will become more of a brand asset management system. So that, even to the point where even if you have your existing logo, but want to access all of the tools and iterations that our engine creates, that you could upload your existing logo and then have it go and be prepared into all of the different file formats, and have it be available for animation. Have it with photo or video backgrounds, have a Zoom background with your logo already appearing in it. Just all of the things that you would want to do with your logo, you should be able to do through logo.com. And so logo.com will become the place where your logo lives. And at that point, we would probably grandfather everyone in who's paid, but switch over to a subscription model, which is what we see some of our competitors doing, to be able to enable this over the long term. And so we did that with Resume. It worked very well in terms of having, resume.com was where your resume lived. You'd go in, you'd graduate from high school, you'd create a resume. 2-3 years later, you'd come back, you'd update your resume after you did some post-secondary education or taking online courses, and then you're looking for a new job, and then you just dust it off and do it again. And same thing with logo.com. So we believe that people will have their logo here. They'll use it for a year or two. Then I'm like, oh, you know what? I've changed my color scheme, or I want the orientation differently now that I've got a van and I need to have, or I want a different slogan. They'll just come back, update it, get all of the new iterations, and it's just an easy way to have a home for your logo.
Okay, thank you. I would also like to compliment you for your wonderful domain choice. Maybe you could tell a few words how you stumbled upon it, and of course also to ask whether you'd be interested in upgrading to logo.horse.
So, I've been in the domain name business for a long time, and buying and selling domains, and so I have a lot of domains that fantastic domains that have come across my desk over the last 20 some years, and every now and then you're able to stop one and have it come into your own inventory. But there are some fantastic ones like weed.com that went across my desk, and my goodness, I wish I had kept that one and set it into the top drawer. Yeah, I've got face.com, rides.com, hockey.com, short.com. These are some of the domains like resume.com and logo.com that we've been able to take into our inventory. And so when resume.com and namescon when we had exited from those, we dusted logo.com off and said, okay, look, we've had ideas on this for years. Let's actually put that into practice now. And so taking lessons that we'd learned from both namescon and from very, very much so from resume, we took a summer off and then started right back in and said, okay, we know what we need to do. We know what kind of team we need to build. Let's just get down to it. And so that's what we did.
What about physical product? Do you anticipate having physical product outputting onto stickers and signs and clothing and things like that?
Like this? Yeah, absolutely. So this was a test run with a company called Sticker Mule. And when I was with NamesCon, we used Sticker Genius. We're also we're working right now to integrate with both Gelato, which is a fantastic printing company where the files are sent. They're really a printing platform. So the files are sent through the Gelato network and then are printed by a printer who is closest to the customer. And so if you're in Vietnam, then your t-shirts aren't printed in Bangladesh and then sent over to Vietnam. They're printed in Vietnam. And if you're in the Netherlands, they're printed in the Netherlands, right? And so it saves on shipping costs for the physical product. And it's environmentally sound. But yeah, so we're not just integrating with a single physical product company. We're open to partnerships with all of them. And so was it Zazzle, Gelato, Sticker Mule, Sticker Genius? I really would like to integrate with 4 Imprint. That's the number 4 Imprint, because I really like their catalog and their quality. But believe it or not, they don't have an affiliate program. So, if they don't have an affiliate program, they're not going to have an API program. And we need to have that API to be able to pass the logo files over for them to then be able to print. But yeah, I mean, logo, once you have your logo, the first thing you want to do is get it printed on something, right? Baseball cap, you can see in the actually, I think it's blocked by my microphone, but I just picked up a cap yesterday from a friend who runs the a Revolver coffee shop, and it just happens that the R matches me, but I'll be ordering caps like this with logo on them. Because that is one of the first things you do, or the second things you do. You use it on your website, use it on your social media channels, then you start printing it out, whether it's on a business card or physical product. So yeah, Mike, that's a very good point, and we are working on it. It's a lot harder than you would think to be able to integrate with these guys.
Yeah, actually, on that note, I have a question of my own, because going back quite some time, maybe 20 years ago or so, I had a very sizable music website, but back then it was so easy because you had just PCs that you had to take care of, right? So it was just a standard rectangle. It was I think one of the logos I had was like this is a very simplified headphones with a domain name, and then it evolved into I had the name and two little speaker circles next to them. But that was like so easy back then because you didn't have to consider everything. So my question to you is, like, see, right now with the domain social, it's a circle, but it's versatile. It's compact. When I want to put it into emails or things like that, it works. but what is the ideal size these days to consider cell phones, web pages on PCs, swag, social media, sort of the different, I guess every social media has different sizes that are optimal. What's your advice on what's the best sort of, well, it's maybe not size, but the ratio, I guess is what the term is, or?
That's a great question. And so I'm going to flip back to the screen share again. And so if you, depending on your use case, you might want to consider this one right here.
Yeah.
So what I love about this format, being square, fairly square, is that there is no icon to dissuade. So your logo is your word mark. If you take a look at NamesCon, the NamesCon word mark is our logo. And so that's my preference. Eat my own dog food. Logo, if you look at our logo, our logo has no icon.
You're cheating me because you got such a great 4-letter. It just works so perfect.
Actually, no. I mean, so this is based off a template. So logo.com, the logo is based off of a template, and we have ideas for how it works for up to 9 letters. And so for each instance, whether it's pick it 4, 5, 6, 7, that you can have it look very cool, and we've seen them in the wild. And so we're then we're like, okay, when we look at logos, when I'm walking around, I'm always like, how do I algorithmically make that logo? But coming back to your point, this fairly square iteration is the most versatile, because it's going to act as its own logo. It's going to act as its own icon, and it will be reproduced very well, whether it's on a t-shirt, on a baseball cap, on a business card, or on your website. Especially works really well with social. If you think about like an Instagram photo here. And so then also talking about beyond physical, well, not quite beyond physical, but when you're putting it on the side of a truck, on the side of your car, it just looks fantastic. But you can then, because you've got the font, we can also do this iteration, right? So this, if you've got a long pickup truck or a long cube van and you want it to kind of stretch out, well, then put it that way. So we do have the icons, because the icons can deliver a message, or can have a play with the the cat idea, right? So we're the cool cats.
Yeah.
I don't think I saved it in there, but so you can have the icon be playful, you can have it communicate, but to your point, I personally like the domain name, the logo to be your word mark. And so we've got lots of very popular designs that where there is no actual icon, and where your orientation is fairly square, and so it works very well. And yeah, it's there's a lot you can do when you have the orientation be a fairly square orientation.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, because it was always, it's that getting started. That's why I like when on yours, where it's like you choose what you like, and it kind of refines the choice, because it's the classic, was it paralysis of choice, right? It's just, you have so many options available to you that it's cool that you have a mechanism to filter it down. Like when in doing that, I saw stuff, oh, I kind of like that, I kind of like that, and you get an idea for, I think it's really useful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Richard, I have a quick question. With your resume deal, did you sort of seek out Indeed, or did they find you? And the same thing with logo. Did you sort of do outbounding with GoDaddy, or did they find you?
Oh, you mean NamesCon? But yeah, so we We did engage a business broker, and we did seek out the purchasers. You know, it's not always the best. You know, if you're looking to exit, it's always better to be asked rather than to go out and solicit. You know, but we were able to work out a very fair price with Indeed. I think that if we had held out, yeah, we might have gotten more if we'd waited until someone, you know, from say LinkedIn championed it and said, you know, we have to have this. So, you know, it's not always the best, right? It's the same with domain sales. You know, you're always, you're going to tend to get a higher price if you're the one being asked. Right. By someone with deep pockets, rather than going and asking. But you know, it can work. You know, outbound sales for domains does work. You know, because you're bringing a valuable asset to the attention of someone with large pockets who's busy working on their business. And so that's what happened with Indeed, is that, you know, they're busy. They're working away. They're building the #1 job site in the world. So when we present to them, hey, here's an opportunity for you to own resume.com, then that's they view that as an opportunity. But yeah, we approached other companies as well, and unless you find an internal champion, you're not going to get that traction, and you're not going to get the value. And yeah, same with NamesCon. So I say it's part of the GoDaddy family, but we actually sold to World Hosting Days, which was part of, if I've got this correctly, Host Global. Jonathan might jump in here, who was then purchased by GoDaddy. So NamesCon was really a line item of a sub-company of a sub-company of a very large company. So I think it was like a $2 billion deal when GoDaddy bought the hosting company. So it's you know, NamesCon is just part of the GoDaddy family. It wasn't that GoDaddy was out to buy NamesCon. But we're very happy to see it as part of that family.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see that it's going to get into good. I'm sorry to dip into here, Richard. You invited me. So it was Host Europe Group, and it's this giant amalgamation of companies over in Europe, and they part of their portfolio was World Hosting Days, who had just acquired NamesCon. And you know, for GoDaddy buying this big company, they already buying this giant, you know, well-profiled registrars and hosting companies over in Europe, but it's like they found the largest web hosting company and domain conference and domain conference in their couch, you know, as part of the transaction. We were probably a rounding error for them. But, you know, imagine, you know, you buy a garage and there's a Lamborghini in there. That's fantastic. You know, that's what it was.
Exactly. Yeah, and same, you know, with logo, we're just we've already received one of our competitors has contacted us and said, hey, are you for sale? And our reply was, no, we're not for sale. Not yet. It's just too early for us. We think that we've got a lot more traction that we can do. You know, a lot of our competitors, if you're an end user and you're just browsing, you can see very similar features. But the big difference for us is that we're a partner first platform. So everything is API based, so that everything that you see on logo.com is what a partner would be able to build. And so if you're a GoDaddy or a Wix or Weebly or WordPress, and you want to have your own internal logo maker, then logo.com is the solution, because what you see is what you get. It's not going to have to be glued together, and so that makes us very appealing to large partners. And so over the next few years, I think you'll start to see logo.com powering a lot of the larger website builders.
Actually, getting to the business, I'm kind of curious. Can I assume that the business of logos, the volume kind of goes in sync with, I guess, with domains? Like this year did you have a big surge this year after COVID started?
Yeah. So yeah, business was very good. You see a lot of people that are starting their side gigs, or they're spending time and they're like, okay, I'm at home. Let's actually revamp our logo. And so, but yeah, we saw a lot of side gig style logos coming through. And yeah, we when you're going to logo.com right now, it's very much a one-off sale. Like we're targeting the single user, but it's built on a platform that is built for partners, for the GoDaddies of the world to be able to sell logos on through their individual users. We are looking at having plans where agencies would be able to come in and say, okay, well, I'd like to have 1,000 credits, or I'd like to have 100 credits. With domain portfolio owners, we do have some deals where we have auto-generated, upwards of 1,000 logos for 1,000 domain names, right? So if someone's like, well, I want to be able to, I don't want to create a logo for every single one of my names, but I would like to have a logo for every single one of my names. So, give us a list of your domains, give us a list of the keywords, and, we'll just randomly, create a randomized file, a zip file of 1,000 logos in high resolution or in low resolution or whatever file format, file naming that you want. And so we've done that for very low cost. So if we are very versatile, and we're covering the basis from the single user all the way up to the extremely large web hosting companies.
Yeah, no, that's cool, because there's a lot of us, I guess, with thousands of domains, like extremely low cost. Just a ballpark, like if somebody came to you, say, I need that 1,000 logo package for a domain, or approximately what would it?
If we're talking 1,000 logos, we're probably in the $2 to $3 range per logo. If we're talking about a low resolution file for each one, if we're talking about a higher resolution file, then the price would be higher. So it really depends on the case by case basis, but most domain portfolio
so basically,
owners,
if somebody wants to do it for more than 1,000 files, reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For more information.
Absolutely.
So, I guess we have to leave at 4 o'clock. Is there anything else you want to share with the group and what you're working on coming up, or anything?
I want to, everyone stay safe. People ask me, how am I doing with the COVID and working from home? I hate to say it, but I'm loving it. It's life is what you make it. So, order in, keep your family occupied, and just, see what you can do to help someone else out. We're not just here to all make money. Jonathan constantly said when we're doing NamesCon, a rising tide raises all boats, and that's what we're here for. So if there's a way that we can work together, whether or not it's for money, just hit me up and let's work on something together.
Great. Well, I'm really appreciative of your time. I know you have to get going, so I will let you skirt out. If anybody else has any questions, you can reach out to me, or I guess to Richard directly, but you can reach me, I'll pass it on. Also, I just want to mention that for this Friday, the Halloween social, both Richard and Darpin have been really generous with providing prizes. So as right now, the social 50 code for logo.com will give you 50% off until the end of the year, as he mentioned, I think it was. And,
social 50.
Yeah, and also I'll be announcing later on that we have some nice prizes from again, from both Logo and from Squad Help for the Halloween social coming up this Friday. So thanks again, Richard. And any last comments, or I guess that was it. So
thanks for having me. Yeah, anyone can just reach out to me. I'm richard@logo.com.
Great. Thanks again. And
thank you, Richard.
Yeah, I'll switch back.
Thank you.
Jonathan, you're still there?
Thanks, Richard.
Yep. And thank you so much, Richard. And I was inspired. So I'm actually, for the domain that I'm working on, I'm actually at logo.com, and I'm going to select a logo from here as an example to kind of transition and segue in. Thank you for coming and talking about logo.com.
Excellent. Thank you.
It's great to see you, as always.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Thanks again, Richard.
You know, one thing that Richard didn't mention that should be mentioned is that he is does quite a lot with a water charity called Water School, and they do remarkable things around the world, saving lives. And you can check out waterschool.org. It was something that we did as part of NamesCon that was a real delight. And you know, it's something that's very remarkable about Richard is a very altruistic person. So it was great to have him on. And you know, taking a look through the logos, I found, you know, I'm kind of like this one. And looking through here, this one turned out to be my favorite. I like this little sort of RSS looking bee. So I'm just gonna act as if I had purchased this and proceed on with the rest of my process.